humans, can and do eat food in order to replenish themselves. Many vampires can survive taking only trace amounts of life force from those around them. But to all vampires, the act of feeding is too pleasurable, regardless of its lack of need. Some vampires are made sick by food, especially when they are low on life force. Vampires can live relatively normal day lives. It is their night life that's different. When sleeping, the astral bodies of the vampire detaches from their physical completely, which allows them to soar into the sky and travel the dreaming world. Vampires often use this time to feed life force from sleeping humans and to come into astral congregation with each other. I'm sure that Vampire Nation doesn't like me calling them out like this, and I have received many veiled death threats in the past. So if something happens to me, you know why. Too many secrets. In ancient times, the gods of men, those undead vampires, ruled mankind in the light. It is also said that these very same gods created man genetically. Ancient people served the undead, not only out of fear, but out of loyalty, because it was common knowledge among ancient man that they too had the option of rising out of the human condition and becoming vampires themselves. Daily contact between the two races was common in those times. This ruling class of vampires has long guided humanity, politically, culturally, and even genetically. This hierarchy, also known as the Hidden Masters, has repeatedly broken the human spirit in order to maintain control of the masses. Much of what we call history is nothing more than the deliberate manipulation of global politics by this hierarchy. Make no mistake, their kind is extremely hierarchical. This elite has long sought to increase our numbers as a rancher oversees cattle to ensure themselves a food source. This overpopulation is soon to be checked by a massive harvest where billions will die and release such life force as to quote-unquote open gates to other worlds. The details of this I do not know. It is also said that the vampire's golden age of ruling man in the open came to an end with the coming of the quote-unquote renegades. The renegades, some of which apparently remain to this day, are an organized group of vampires who still have a soft spot for humans. This group apparently led armies of humans into the temples of the gods and destroyed them, forcing the hierarchy underground. The members of the renegades are generally younger vampires who had only recently undergone the ritual of death and rebirth. My guess is, when the time of the renegades comes to an end, the hierarchy will once more rule in the light. This hierarchy has gone by many names throughout the ages, but today they are known as the Illuminati. The Illuminati is an organized collection of satanic secret societies and other secret societies that are not openly satanic, such as the Freemasons and the Vatican. These groups work cooperatively, seeking to fulfill an ancient prophecy, the return of the Golden Age of worldwide and open rule. The Illuminati, using the powers of the Catholic Church and the European empires, have long sought to crush all records of man's true history, ensuring themselves a monopoly on historic truth. From Russia to Peru, they systematically destroyed the traces of truth they found. The symbolic stories that have slipped through the cracks of this hoarding of historical knowledge have been unfortunately titled and relegated to mythology. For it is truly their burden to destroy and rewrite the past, because without humanity's collective amnesia, we would remember who they are, and, just as important, we would remember how powerful and balanced the human could be. As stated earlier, Even good magicians believe that the commoner is unworthy of these quote-unquote secrets. And that is a bunch of bullshit. First, it was members of the occult who made these once common truths into secrets. Secondly, they only did so to continue maintaining a power structure using sorcery. And thirdly, just because I didn't hear it from the Dark Brotherhood or see it in a scrying mirror does not mean I should be left with lies regarding things like Atlantis. There is a day coming when the vampires will unveil themselves and walk in the open, but the veil of lies surrounding humanity's past will remain. Unbeknownst to most, the highest achievement for the Satanist is self-deification through magic. In this, the dark powers of magic, namely Lucifer and Lilith, are called upon to perform a quote-unquote surgical operation on the spirit of the Satanist. After being summoned in ritual, these beings bring the participant from the human to the vampiric condition. Vampires favor their own, and often make stars and power magnates out of each other. My guess is that it is hard, if not impossible, to rise through the ranks of the Illuminati while remaining in the human condition. In ritual, the Satanist often evokes these beings and feeds them the life force he has collected from humans. This offering of life force appeases the gods and makes them more willing to perform the transformation or any other duty the Satanist chooses. These beings are said to loosen the astral ties, making the worshipper more vampire with each communion. The Satanist will often speak to infernal ones with the highest of reverence, as opposed to the white magician, who is inclined to speak to the demons as servants. The Satanist conducts rituals wearing red or black. In fact, the entirety of a satanic ritual will be strongly oriented to the colors red and black, whereas a white magician may choose white. In magic, the color white is associated with purity, God, spirit, the guardian angel, and goodness. The color red is associated with life force, blood, and violence, and the color black is related to evil, chaos, the guardian demon, and the unknown. Satanists follow what is called the left-hand path, whereas white magicians, Christians, Muslims, Jews, Hindus, and Buddhists follow the right-hand path. The left-hand path is a belief structure that does not regard any moral issues. It is the negation of morality. In the eyes of a left-hand pather, what they do is not evil, because there is no evil. This does not mean, however, that those of the left-hand path do not believe in the existence of God. By percentage, you will find more believers of God among Satanists than you will find in the general public. Remember, they are worshippers of the fallen angels, and their gods were expelled from heaven into the abyss or chaos by a higher god, so naturally they must believe in a higher god. Satanism itself is the predatory and pragmatic nature of the vampire turned into a religion whose highest achievement is self-deification. The left hand, or the left side of the body, has always been associated with darkness. In fact, the word sinister comes from Latin, where the word meant left-handed or unlucky. In the Middle Ages, people who wrote with their left hand were thought to be evil and possessed by the devil. In Islam, the tutelary demon assigned at birth always resides invisibly on the individual's left side. What's more, Muslims prefer to do clean jobs such as eating and greeting others with the right hand, while relegating the left hand to dirty jobs like cleaning one's house and body. Teachings of the right-hand path always include a firm belief in right and wrong and the existence thereof. As stated before, the mark of the beast are those who have sold their soul to Satan in exchange for vampiric transformation. This is also called making the black pact or oath. Those endowed with the mark of the beast can easily change into the shapes of animals. There is also much speculation about the number 666 and its true meaning, but among Satanists it has but one meaning: achieving a sort of godhood. The phoenix bird, or the dung beetle, is often used symbolically to refer to death and rebirth and its ritual. It is also worth noting that people who have undergone the ritual of death and rebirth refer to themselves as an antichrist.